In today's episode, we talk about loyalty and really creating the connection with your customers. We talk about evolving and adding a new product line that worked really well for Dawn. You'll hear about that in today's episode. We also talk about balance. Does balance exist with having a family and husband and store? I think that her perspective is really great on it. We also get into some personal stuff. I just got a little curious and needed to talk to Dawn and ask her about the success, how she sees such great success and happiness in her marriage. So, it's a great episode filled with several different topics about running a retail store and life as a retailer. So I really enjoyed this conversation. I know you will too. Before we dive in, here's a little bit more about my guest. Dawn Hart is the owner and the heart behind Hart Mercantile, where she blends her retail expertise with a love for creating fun, welcoming spaces for her guests. She's a wife to Isaac and a busy mom of 3, trying to embrace both entrepreneurship and family with energy and kindness. You can follow her and connect on all the socials, Hart Mercantile. That's Hart, like her last name. You're going to love Dawn and this conversation. Let's dive in. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Crystal Vilkaitis, the Wolf of Main Street, and this is Rooted in Retail. Dawn, welcome to Rooted in Retail. I am thrilled you're here.
I am so excited to be here, Crystal. Thank you. I'm a longtime listener, and I'm excited about this opportunity.
I know, me too. When you reached out and said you listen and hey, I've got an angle for the show, I was like, I love it. Let's do it. And I think this is going to be a really great conversation. So before we dive in, will you take a couple minutes and share a little bit more about you and your retail journey?
Absolutely. I feel like my retail journey started when I was a young kid. I'm the daughter of a dairy farmer who also owned a greenhouse and a farm produce business. And I didn't really realize how that impacted me until I was in my 30s and really started to realize that I was maybe made to do something independently. So I grew up watching my dad and my grandparents and my mom care for customers and run a business. And so I feel like it started then. But then in my 30s, I sort of left my career teaching kids with autism and went to a part-time job and started a side hustle of mobile retail. And I did a side hustle driving a 20-foot box truck around Wisconsin and Illinois and selling what primarily at the time was 100% vintage and antiques. I did it as a side hustle for 4 years. Then I left my part-time job that I was working like 30 hours a week at and started a full-time mobile retail business for a couple years and opened our brick and mortar named Hart Mercantile, Hart, after my last name. Well, actually, my husband's last name. And we've been open since October of 2019.
Amazing. And such a fun journey. And the fact that you got to do several different things here, from going from mobile truck to booth to now your thriving store. Can you share a couple of the top lessons that you learned from starting that side hustle that you think every retailer should know before starting their own store?
Yeah, so many things. But first of all, I cannot imagine opening a brick and mortar just from the very bottom. And I know a lot of retailers do it. I know a lot of successful retailers do it. I am so happy that I did not do it that way. 2 of our kids were young at the time. And so the mobile retail just really worked for our family. My husband could be home on the weekends while I was gone, although our oldest daughter came with us. So kudos to anybody who just starts from ground zero. But yeah, a couple things. So one is start your social media page today, not tomorrow, not next week, not when you have time. If you are really doing a side hustle or want to start a side hustle, get a social media page going and start showing up on it regularly. We get to do it for free. It's for free. We get to post about our businesses online for the whole world to see. So that would be my number one thing. My very first market, the event coordinator required me to have a Facebook business page. So thankful for that.
Yeah.
And then a year into the side hustle, a very good friend of mine who we were vendors next to each other a lot. She said, I think there's something to this Instagram thing, and I think we should probably start an Instagram business page. Okay, so we did, and also so thankful for that. So that's my number one thing, is just do it. Figure it out as you go. And then my number two thing is say yes. I said yes to almost anything I could say yes to that worked for my family and for me. And a lot of them were not successes. But the financial risk when you're doing a side hustle should be so low because you're still getting a paycheck, right? So go for it. Like, try it.
Mm.
We came off a very successful market weekend, and I had signed up to do a Sunday market after a Friday, Saturday. It was a brand new market for me. My daughter went with me, Ella, at the time. We sold $119 worth. I had a really cute setup. I was really proud of my display. I figured that I had the most curated collection there, but that did not equal a successful show for me. So I didn't look at it as a failure. I looked at it as, okay, this isn't where I need to be. Won't come back here. Let's say yes to something else. So just if there's an opportunity that comes up and it works for you, because the financial risk should be so low, just give it a shot.
Right. Yeah. Well, and that's where this is actually such fun timing because I filmed right before our interview with Joy Fan, and your episode will come out after hers. So
Okay.
the listeners, if they listen to this, and one thing she talks about is, doing pop-ups, pop-ins to test the market, right? And when her and I hung up, we stopped filming and we chatted a little bit longer, and I shared with her an idea that my husband and I have wanted to open something locally for a long time, a physical wine bar. And I felt very inspired during her call. And she was like, you don't have to go and like open a wine bar. You could do a pouring at a retail store,
Yes.
at 7 p.m. later just to test the market. You could do a pop up. And I was like, oh, we could do a pop up food and wine, weekend or
Yes.
something. Like, so to your point of, you know, how you started, you got the ability to do the pop-ups, test it out,
Yes.
figure out like your systems and operations and your customers. And
Yes.
then I love that you said, I didn't look at it as a failure. We made $119. It wasn't a failure. It's market research, right? Like we're just really understanding where do we need to be and who's resonating and who's not. And we have to have those moments in business. So it's really important that if we have any listeners who are like, oh, that really didn't work, like we did an event, we spent money, we marketed and it just didn't work, we're a failure. That's not necessarily true. It's all research. We're
Yes.
testing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And learning along the way and always coming out knowing something you didn't know when you started. So valuable. And I said yes to as many things as I could say yes to. And some of them turned out to be the most amazing opportunities. And I still have some of those customers that showed up at that event that was a little risky.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. That's so good. So good. A lot of our listeners have existing stores. They're not necessarily opening a new, but even if you're thinking about doing something new in the store, or maybe you're thinking about opening a new location or a different type of store or adding a service offering, taking these things from Dawn saying yes, taking some risks and showing up, I think can really support the store and the growth.
100%. I want to open a man store so bad. I've been wanting to open a man store for like 10 years.
Oh my God, I
And
love it.
we just have started, and I want to call it him mercantile. But anyway, we do have a man section in the store, and I've just like learned what women are shopping for men and what men might be shopping for themselves. And so really just working on that, because eventually if that does happen for me, at least I've had some experience with it. So totally say yes.
Yeah, totally. You're going to love my episode with Joy also, since you're a listener, because we talk about if you have a store just for men, some tips on what to do there. I think you totally need to open this store for him. And like the slogan is like the man store. I love
Yes.
it.
Yes. I love it
It's so
too.
good. Oh my goodness. Okay, now Dawn, you've built some loyalty. I'd love to talk about loyalty because that's such a critical part of a retailer. And we talk about this a lot on the show that less than 20% of people come back a second time. So loyalty is so critical. So, how did you create a community of shoppers who followed you from markets and then to your store? And what can others do to cultivate that kind of loyalty?
Oh, well, I think what I did well, I didn't do intentionally, if that makes sense. I think what I
Uh-huh.
ended up doing well is just because of who I am and how I was made. The things I did really poor, there were a lot of things I did poorly, but two particular things I think I did well was one, I let people see my family and who we were and what we did. And Ella, again, she's our 19-year-old. She started with me when she was 7 or 8 and came to shows with me. And so customers got to see her and see our
Yep.
relationship and get to know her. And we still have customers who come in who say, Ella, the last time I saw you, you were like this hot. And so I think they got to know us and they cared about us. We have so many people that care about our family. And that started in our market days. Liam would do price tags for me, and I would take videos of him making my price tags and post it on my stories, just getting to know us. And then it's just because of who I am, like my family is a part of everything we do. So I didn't do it intentionally and I didn't think that it would matter, but it turns out it matters a lot. And our customers love to know what we're doing as a family. So that was just on accident. And the second thing that was on accident was we have so much fun. And so even when I had a 10 by 10 tent at a show and it was downpouring and 45 degrees, we would be laughing and having fun and enjoying our time together with our customers. And I think when customers walk into your space, whether it's a booth or a tent or a table at a craft show, if they're having fun and they're laughing, they feel happy. And when they feel happy, they have that emotion and it makes them feel good. And they remember feeling good when they were in your space. And so
Yes, they do.
just because we like to have fun and we laugh, I think it's created this experience for customers like, oh, you're so much fun. Every time I come in, I always laugh. And when I'm working at the shop, if customers come in and say they're celebrating their anniversary, I get Tiffany, I Think We're Alone Now on our playlist and blast it. Just fun. And people remember that. So those would be like my two things. Let them get to know you and care about you and your family because they do. And then just have fun.
Yeah, I mean, really great advice. I love that you're just willing to show your family on social. You're leveraging it from the beginning. I think a lot of retailers and people in general feel uncomfortable doing that and feel like, who would care? Or am I going to be judged? But ultimately, people just want to see people. We build the relationship with you. That's how we build the connection and want to shop and want to stay connected and see your family. And then when I see you in person and the kids have gotten bigger, and I mean, it just builds instant connection that warms up that relationship. And I think that's so critical for any kind of business. But then also, you said how you make people feel. And we teach this in our Unreasonable Hospitality course inside of our IndERA membership that, it's all about how we make people feel. That's hospitality. Service is what you do. Hospitality is how you make people feel. And when we look through the hospitality lens at our business and say, how do I want my customers to feel when they leave here? They had fun, they laughed, even though it's pouring or whatever's going on, like they had a good time and it was memorable and they felt something. They go and tell their friends and family about it. They think of you when they need something. And that's where you create that loyalty. It's so important. So you're just doing such a great job.
Well, thank you. I do think I tell our staff this too, and I tell Ella this because Ella works every week with us and she's going to be 20 soon, but she's there on Saturdays. I tell everyone when they walk in, when anyone walks through my door, I want them to feel welcomed and feel special and know that this is going to make them happy.
Yes. Oh, I love that so much. I love that lens. And people can feel that. Like they really can feel that. When there's stores that you walk into and you're like, I don't feel like I'm welcome here.
Yes.
Like it's just like, I don't know. I don't feel good here. Like we really want people to feel welcome and stay. And you're just doing such a great job. And love that your daughter's working in the business with you too. It's so fun. Are you looking to be the retailer that everyone knows and loves? If you are, we can help support you inside of the Independent Retailers Association. We have a lot of different tools that can help you grow your visibility, connect deeper with your customers to really create lifetime relationships. We've got training on marketing and social media kits to make social media so easy for you every single month. Plus, we have an amazing community inside that you can ask questions and get advice and share your wins. I'm in there, my team's in there, and all of our other hundreds of retail members. And at the pro level, you can tune in every other week to our Retail Pro strategy calls where you get access to incredible pros in the retail space who are experts in all aspects, from merchandising to sales to texting to becoming a destination to hearing from fellow retailers who are knocking it out of the park with their events. We have so much great content inside of the Independent Retailers Association, which we call IndERA. So we have a couple of different levels that you can join, starting at just $25 a month. I would love to see you inside. This is a way for us to connect, go deeper, and really help grow your business so you can become the store that everybody knows and loves. We'd love to see you there. You can go to joinindera.com to learn more. That's joinindera.com. All right, let's get back to the episode. Now, Dawn, retail is evolving fast, quick. It's pretty crazy in our retail world. Can you share an example of a recent change you made that made a big difference in sales or your customer experience?
Yes, I knew the answer to this one right away. So there's so many things, and I love change, and I think that's part of what fuels my love for retail is that I'm made to love change. And so the fact that it's always changing is fun and challenging, but I have a really good friend named Shelly who owns a jewelry store just down the street from me, and we kind of bounce ideas off of each other. Get yourself one of those if you don't have one. And she has been nudging me for like 3 years to get greeting cards in our gift shop. Well, that seems like a no-brainer because if you own a gift shop, you probably should offer greeting cards. But at the time, I was, no, I'm not selling another $5 price point. I already have a lot of those. I don't need to take up valuable retail space with $5 price points. Well, September of 2024, our middle child, Liam, turns 16. I'm trying to find a fun card for him. He's sarcastic. He's witty. Can't find one. Okay. So I look at wholesale cards and I find a great line that totally fits our style story, is funny, sarcastic, totally relatable, great price point, and I ordered 12 different ones. They fly out. Okay, order more, add more shelves. Now we have 42 SKUs. It's our number two gross profiting product year to date in the store. Who knew?
See those greeting cards. Shelly was right.
So I think, if I had known that, I would have done that sooner. But again, I was stepping more into a gift store realm, and that was new to me. And so I was a little resistant to that. And so as I was shifting and kind of pivoting and evolving, I was a little resistant to one piece of that. And I'm so happy that I finally figured it out.
Well, and I think that you touch on a couple of important things here, which is one, like just, you had a need and you found it and offered it, and do my customers need it? Kind of going back to what we were saying earlier of testing different products. I think retail so much, there could be a lot of testing. And because the industry evolves and the consumer evolves and trends change so fast, we're doing a lot of testing. We don't always know what's going to be the right product, but I think it's so worth it to test it and just see, dip our toe in, is this going to make sense for us? But then also community, talking to Shelly and you guys supporting each other. And again, inside of our IndERA membership, there's community. If you have these challenges or struggles or, hey, it would be so great, have you thought about doing that? We're supported. And I just don't think that we're meant to do business alone. And so having that support system and people pushing you to think differently or outside of your comfort level is so important. So I'm really glad you brought that up.
And the greeting cards actually served, you did ask this in your question and I didn't answer it, but our customers love them. They're funny. Again, they're coming in and they're laughing and they're having a good time and they're staying longer and they're reading them out loud and then other customers are laughing. So it filled, from a sales perspective, it was super beneficial, but from a customer experience, that was just off the charts.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I love it so much. I feel like I'm starting to develop a newfound love for greeting cards because they're some of these lines out there are just really, they're beautiful. I think I've mentioned this one a million times, but if on video I'm showing a beautiful greeting card that my friend Amy with New York Now sent to me. She's very into stationery and I have this right on my desk with not a lot of things because it's so beautiful. So I just think that there is, now we're talking more like merchandise and product, but I just think that there's something to these greeting cards, and I feel like they're making a comeback too.
Yes,
So
I
yeah,
agree. And I think people, it's so easy to send a text or an email, but
I know.
like to send a card with a handwritten note,
Yeah,
so great.
that's it's next level. It used to be the standard, then we got away
Right.
from it. Now it's next level. That's for sure. Now, I would love to talk about balance because you mentioned your kids and you're working. So you're also open 7 days a week and
Right.
you're a wife, you're a mom of three. So, how do you balance family and business?
This is so funny because I just finished listening to your podcast this week with Crystal, who this
Yeah.
is what she's talking about with you,
Yeah.
and like mental health and resting. And I'm going to answer it not the way Crystal, your guest,
Yeah.
would want me to answer it. I don't know that I have balance. And
Yeah.
and it's not bad. My family and my business are so intertwined. First of all, I think being a mom and being a wife is the most important thing. I'm never going to look back and say, oh, I wish I had grown my business more. I wish I had worked more. I wish I had made more money. I will never say that. So I want to pour into my family as much as I can. Second of all, I have the most amazing husband who does anything I ask. And I know not everybody has that. So I'm blessed that way, and not everybody is. So it allows me to do some things in business and in family that I wouldn't be able to do otherwise. But they're just so intertwined. I mentioned Ella several times. Liam used to come to the shop with me every Saturday and ride his scooter around. He never said no, right? Like, no, you can come to the store. Absolutely. I want you to be there with me. I would tell customers, I got to go run back and check on Liam quick. He's whatever, making a pizza. And then we ended up adopting our third child. She came to live with us when she was 6 months old, and it was a year after I opened our brick and mortar. And
Okay.
so it really forced me to invest in great staff. I couldn't be a mom to her and run my business like I was. So I had to shift and I had to put my family first. That doesn't mean that when I was home with her and had staff at the store, I wasn't working, because I was. Again, they're so intertwined. So I don't feel like when I walk in the door at home, my business turns off. It's part of our daily conversations. It's part of what we do. It's part of who we are. And then I also don't feel like when I go to the store, my family turns off, right? Kids are
Right.
texting me, they're FaceTiming me, they're calling me and asking me if I can stop at Ace Hardware and pick something up for them. And my customers know that. They can FaceTime me when we're open, and I'll say, I have customers in the store, but go ahead. So Crystal was talking about rest and boundaries and all good things. But for me, it seems to be working very well. And everyone seems to be quite happy with it. So,
Well, that's where I love that episode dropped. You could listen, and now we're talking about this because I am such a believer that you gotta find what works for you. And like, I think of my mentors, Jen Gottlieb and Chris Winfield, and they talk a lot about they love business, they work together, they're at dinner talking about business. It's always business, but they love it. And that's the life that they have designed and really enjoy it, and they love what they do. And that's similar to you. You're like, I'm not going to stop one or the other. I've figured out how they could coexist and be important, but ultimately family is going to be number one. And I'm going to make the business around the life that I want. And I think that too often we can get caught up in what other people are doing or what we think we should be doing, that we lose what we want to do. And so this is a perfect example. If you need the boundaries and the rest, take the boundaries, take the rest, put them in place.
yes.
If you love the coexisting, commingling, and that thrives for you and is exciting, that's amazing. But you just got to figure out what works for you.
Yes, totally. And, I think for a while I was trying to fit into this balance thing. Like, you listen to podcasts, you read, like, you got to have balance, you got to have boundaries. You can't always be working, you can't have both. And so I think I was trying to make that work, and it just doesn't for us. It just doesn't.
Mm, yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's where I'm glad that you had that awareness and then went back to what does work for you. I think when we're in constant push and doing what doesn't work for us, we burn out. a lot
Yes.
faster too. And sometimes that can be really hard to come back from. Personal question, which if you want us to cut this or not air it, we don't have to. But because you mentioned how amazing your husband is, I'm just curious how long you've been married and if you have like a secret to your success. Because I could tell you're like just so happy and he sounds amazing. And
Oh,
that do you mind sharing that?
no, not at all. I'm an
Okay.
open book. I don't do small talk well. And I tell my customers that. And I mean, we can talk about some wild things and we have just met. So I don't do small talk
Love it.
well. We've been married almost 21 years. And I told the story on my stories last year on our 20-year anniversary. And I got so many DMs about it that I feel like this year I need to like share it on my page. So Isaac married me. I was a career woman. I didn't want to have kids. I didn't want to be a stay-at-home mom. I taught kids with autism. I loved my career. And you fast forward, and then I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, which I was for a couple years. And then I had a part-time job that didn't pay very well. And then all of a sudden, surprise, I want to do this side hustle and I want to be gone on the weekends. Is that okay with you? And now the person that I was when he met me, now I'm a store owner. Like, and he's just like, sure, Dawn, yeah, we can do that. I want to buy a 20-foot box truck. I promise I'll pay it off by the end of the year. Okay, let's do that. So I know not everyone is blessed like that, but I am. And
Yeah.
I do not take that for granted. The fact, I mean, he's been in the same career since we've been married. So he hasn't, but also to be fair, like our brains are made different. He's very detail
Mm-hmm.
oriented, he's very organized. I am the opposite of that. So we just work really well together. I think ultimately he would love to work full time with me, but because of kids and health insurance, at
Right.
retirement.
Some of
So I
those
am,
things. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, and I think the plan was that that was going to happen. And then our youngest came into our lives. And so now he's in it to win it a little bit.
Yeah.
So I guess, like, I don't know. It's who you marry is the most important decision of your life,
Yeah,
right?
it's a really big decision. And what I hear you say is he believes in you and you have your own independence. Like,
Yes.
I want to go do this, I want to go do that. And many, many years ago, I was on a train from Denver, an Amtrak train from Denver to Chicago. I was working for somebody and she flew and she put me and another employee on a train for like 2 days. I was like, can we fly? This is
Yeah.
a very long train ride. And it was me and my friend, and we had lunch in the dinner cart. And if you've ever taken the train before, you sit on the same side and you sit across from strangers. And so
Yes.
we sat across from this couple who had been married for like 50 years. It was a long time. And my friend asked, can I ask the secret to staying together for so long? And they said, he has his life, she has hers. He can go golfing and she's not going to complain about it. She could go shopping with her girlfriends and he's like, go have fun, honey. Like just
Yes.
that support and that independence. And I kind of heard that from you a little bit. And I know we're not talking retail right now, but it's like, a lot of retailers, we have listeners who do business with their
Yes.
spouse. And
Yes.
I think that sometimes it's nice to talk about like what makes it work because sometimes relationships can be challenging, but I'm just
And
so happy for you.
I think a lot of business owners that are women are independent,
Yes.
strong-willed,
Yeah.
um, and they have their own ideas, and that can be hard for men. And I remember when Isaac asked my dad to marry me, my dad said, "Yeah, you can have her, but she's a handful." And he wasn't wrong. I have ideas and I have things I wanna do in my business, and he's like, "Do it. Yeah, try it."
Yeah. Oh, that's so good. Well, and I can relate to that too. Dustin, I am very independent. Dustin is very supportive. He's also independent. And we've been traveling a lot together lately because he's been working with us. So he goes to all the shows. And all of a sudden, I'm like, I need to go by myself. Like, you need to stay home. We're spending too much time together. He's like, you
Yes.
totally, when do you go? Like, we just both feel it. And so, but he is so supportive. And I think you're right. With entrepreneurs, we are independent. We've got big ideas. But
Yes.
thanks for taking that commercial break with me
You
and
bet.
talking a little bit of the real life, more personal side of things. Dawn, before we go into the resilience round, looking ahead, what's something you're most excited about or looking forward to in your business?
Oh, I'm always excited about change. And I can think of two specific things. One is I'm super excited about this 7 days a week thing. So I know not every independent retailer can do that from a staffing standpoint. And maybe I won't always be able to do it, but we've been open 7 days a week, 8 months of the year, the last 2 years. And I'm really leaning into the possibility of being open 7 days a week year round starting in 2026. And a couple different reasons. One is I get way more done and I'm way more focused on Mondays. And that's my
Mm,
day to be behind the counter. And we have great Mondays, otherwise we wouldn't be open, but there's just less people. So I'm able to get a lot more done. And two is I think I've created a community of such loyal customers that I love that they know that they don't have to check to see if we're open, that they can just
mhm.
pop in on a Monday during their lunch hour and grab a gift that they need that night or for the next day. And so I think it's really serving our community and our customers well. And I want to do that. I want to really lean into that. So I'm excited about that. And number two,
Awesome.
I'm really excited that I'm far enough into my retail journey that I'm not just thinking about the next season. So last year at this time, I did not do a very good job of planning for Christmas. And I was like, what are we doing for Christmas? I gotta have Christmas out in 5 weeks. What are we doing? Well, I've been planning for Christmas since January. Now I have my January, February planned out. I have my March, April, May planned out, and I have my June, July, and August planned out. So I'm so
Yes.
excited for that. So if you're a retailer and you're kind of like, last year, Dawn, what am I doing? It's okay because you can do it next time and do better next time. So I'm very excited that I have the time and the freedom and the inspiration to do a better job of that. I think it's going to serve our customers better. I think they're going to feel more inspired, and it ultimately should help sales.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And I really love that as you're reaching you're learning in business. What do I want? How do I do it? There's just no owner's manual to a business, any kind of business. Like there are systems, yes, there's processes, things like that. But you have to just figure out things on your own. I'm convinced and everything is figure outable, but you do have to be in it and you've got to figure it out. So you're on your journey and you're exploring and you're figuring it out. And I love your enthusiasm around I got it down and now I'm excited. Like this is what's happening now. And I think we need to celebrate those moments. So often
Yes.
it's just we'll beat ourselves up. Oh, why wasn't I doing this last year? Why was I so late with Christmas?
Right.
Now, if I only would have been doing it this way. I love your mindset reframe here of I got it now. I'm ahead. Like,
Yes.
how exciting. I think that's a really great way to think about
And
business. So I'm
even
glad you
even
shared
my
it.
staff recognizes it. Carla's been with me for 4 years. She's amazing. And she's like, Dawn, you're doing it. Look at you. It's like, yes,
Yes.
I am.
Oh, I love this support. I love it so much. Oh, it's so good. Okay, Dawn, are you ready for the resilience round?
You bet I am.
Okay, let's do it. Best business book.
I listen to more podcasts than read business books, but I'm going to go with I'm a badass at making money.
Ooh.
And here's why, because it changed my mindset about money. I grew up without any money and I thought having money was bad and I thought gaining wealth would be bad. So it really shifted my mindset. Now I'm still an independent retailer. I'm not wealthy, but it shifted the way I think about money. So I recommend it.
Amazing. I haven't heard of that one, so I'll tune in. That sounds awesome. Best retail technology, like an app or software?
Shopify, 100%. And I know some of your other guests say that, but 100% Shopify. I love the inventory management. I love that I have an e-commerce site and a point of sale and it all talks together. I love that I have an app for customer loyalty program, Shopify.
Yep. Hard to beat Shopify. It's a good one. How do you keep up with the ever changing retail landscape?
Oh, I visit other retail stores. My husband, again, because he's so amazing, we love to go to little communities and visit other boutiques and other shops and poke around. And even if it's not anything that relates to my business, it might inspire me, like a jewelry store and their window display or what they have hanging from the ceiling. So, love visiting other independent retail shops and then tapping into a younger generation. We would not have crew neck sweatshirts, hair clips, and socks in our gift shop if it weren't for Ella, our 19-year-old. And all three of those products do amazing for us. So really tapping into a different generation.
Yeah. Oh, that's such a good point. I love it so much. And it's so funny because right before we hit record, I was thinking how much I love New York City. I talk about that a lot, but how much I love going to different places because you get the inspiration, you get the ideas. And I love that you do that. I think that's one of the best ways that retailers can just, like you said, I could be looking at a jewelry store, but really get new, fresh ideas and
Yes.
inspiration for your own. So good. You got to get out there. Now, Dawn, if you were to start your business all over again, what's one thing you'd do differently?
I would lean into being a gift shop more quickly and with more commitment. I didn't fully recognize the need for that from a customer perspective. Like I said, I started out with vintage and antique, and I really started my store that way because I thought that's what I was going to be, and home decor. No, my customers want gifts. So started to lean into that slightly, but not quickly enough. So I would do that with more commitment and do it sooner.
Okay, awesome. Finally, what do you think the future of independent retail looks like?
Oh, I think if we have fun and make each other laugh and create memorable experiences, it's going to be so good. I
Mm.
love going to a store and walking out of a store and saying to my husband or my friend, that was a really fun shop. Or she was the best. She was so nice. And when
Yeah.
I hear customers walk out of my store and say that, I'm just, oh, thank you. And I think as long as independent retailers keep that in their forefront and make that important, independent retail, people want connection.
Yes, they do. I couldn't agree more and well said. Dawn, how can people connect with you and learn more?
Okay, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest. Just make sure you type in Hart, Hart, Mercantile. And then we also have an e-commerce platform, hartmercantilegoods.com.
Amazing. And we'll link to all that. Dawn, I'm so glad that you reached out to be on the show because this was such a great conversation. And I'm so proud of what you have built. And just like you're such an amazing human. So just thank you for being here. This is a really great conversation.
Oh, thank you. And thanks for doing what you do. I didn't say this, but I've learned so much from you and from your guests and implemented so many things over the years. So valuable. So thank you.
Oh, love. I love hearing that. And I love hearing from our listeners. And this was so good. So, Dawn, thank you so much. And everyone, remember that I'm rooting for your success. Have a great week ahead. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to the Rooted in Retail podcast. It means the world to me to have you here. If you find value in this show and you listen on an iPhone, if you could leave a review on the Apple Podcast app, that would be amazing. And if you watch YouTube, if you're a YouTube subscriber, we film this. And so if you rather watch the show, you can also do that over on YouTube. Again, thank you for listening, and I'll see you on the next episode.